Okay, so last video for today is recreating a prized individual. Now, I'm not talking about trying to get genes to surface or any of that stuff, or recreating a gene, figuring out if it's dominant, recessive, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about polygenic. You're like, okay, cool, I really love this male or whatever, and let me recreate it. So how would you, if you stumbled upon an individual fish or whatever, or a gecko that you wanted to recreate and then start potentially a whole line with, right? So what you would do is, and you'll see here, I put the symbol for breed back so that you guys can understand when I put this, right? So you would take your original prized male or female, whatever. If it's geckos, it could totally be female as well, but it doesn't matter. Your original prized animal here, right? And then you're gonna find the best opposite sex that you can, right? And so if, you know, obviously like for geckos, if it's a tang, then you're gonna try and find another tang that's, you know, at least in the same ballpark. Then you, or if it's a cichlid, then you would just do the best, you know, highest quality female, or vice versa that you could, right? So you're gonna breed those together, and then you're gonna take all the offspring that are the best ones, and you're gonna breed them back to the original prized animal, right? So again, you're taking your prized original animal, finding the best mate that you can, breeding them together, taking all the best offspring, and I mean as many as you can, and then breed them back to the original prized animal. Step 2, you're gonna recreate the same, you're gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna take this original prized animal and you're gonna take all the best offspring from this breeding. So when you breed these back to him or her, you're gonna take all the best offspring and they're gonna go here. So you're gonna breed all of those offspring back to the original prized again, and then you're gonna get offspring. If you're still not seeing ones that are like this original one by now, then it's kind of getting to the point of like, well, that's gonna, but whatever. So anyways, so yeah, breeding best could, breed down, you have your offspring from breeding the best possible mate you could to your prized, breed them back to the prized, take all the offspring here, breed them back to the prized male again, or female. Then you'll take all the best offspring from that and you'll breed them back to the original prized animal again. Now, if you're having to do this third step, the odds of it taking that long with this process here is very, very, very slim. And I want to emphasize too, you're making them weaker as you go. So you're gonna have to start really paying attention. You know, doing 1 and 2, you're fine. Doing number 3, you're getting into the situation where you will have to start really, you know, kind of paying extra attention, like for the most finite details of things starting to get a little bit too weak. So you shouldn't see any weakening here, and you shouldn't see any weakening here. The only times that you would be if you started with a prized animal that actually had some faulty genetics to start with. And that's totally possible. So if you get to these points and you're like, oh wow, this ain't working out, then this animal was simply faulty. That's just the reality of it. It's not something good. So it might look good, but it doesn't carry good. So that's, in my opinion, you should not try and outcross it and then strengthen that and try and work there. No, never start a breeding operation with something that's here. Just don't. And by faulty, I mean, if you're seeing like 2% of offspring that are, you know, having some slight funk to them, that's okay. 2%'s not that bad. I mean, and it can certainly be straightened out. If it's random, 2% is not a bad deal at all. If it's consistent, then 2% is the beginning of you having to recognize something's gonna have to happen. By all means, 2% is not faulty, but 2% is something that you should be like, okay, my alarm bells are ringing. I need to understand where I'm gonna act here. And then based on whatever the offspring are from your reaction will indicate to you whether it's okay to proceed or this should just be not a thing. So again, if you take something here and you start seeing some, minute 2% issues that are, inconsistent, then by all means, just proceed down here. But if you're seeing something that's like 2% and very consistent in what you're seeing for the defects, then you're going to have to start, recognizing that as soon as you recreate this fish down here on third step, you're going to have to do some strengthening up for sure. And in which case, it might not really be worth your while in the first place. So it all depends on the goal and what you're trying to recreate here and what you planned on doing with it. So again, this is all going to have to be just something that you guys use as your own. This is just a tool. It's a tool. It's a tool for you to have, for you to keep in mind. It's something that, is just kind of in the back of your head, important for breeders to understand and to watch. So, okay. In general, though, if you're doing something like this and you're seeing 2% random defects, is that bad? No. As a matter of fact, there's wild fish that you could breed them together and they would totally throw you way the hell more than 2% of faulty, right? Is 5% defects of random sorts not consistent in your offspring during this process. Is that bad? No, it's not. If you're seeing 10%, you need to be, and they're not consistent defects, it's just random stuff, then okay, fine, you can still reach your goal and you can work on strengthening that out after that, because then what you could do is you could take your other prized example here, you could breed them to two totally clean bloodlines on the outside of these, and then take both sets of offspring and breed them together, and bam, now you have a strengthen again. And if you're not seeing the defects still like that, then you're good to go, and you can start your own bloodline with that, and it's going to be totally strong. It's not going to be trash. Now, let's say that you're seeing defects, though, in this process, and they're consistent. If they're 2%, do you need to be like, oh my God, I gotta give up on getting my prized animal? No, you don't. You can keep going. But at the same time, if it gets to where you're like, I'm seeing 5 to 10%, and they're consistent, you got to abandon ship and just stop. Just stop. This is not going to be. If you're seeing consistent defects, that means that it's not just fluke or whatever in nature, because nature itself will give you defects. I mean, it could be nutritional. It could be so many different things. It's not even funny. It could be that she's a first-time mother, or it could be anything, right? And you would be seeing some kind of defect. No one's breeding fish and legitimately just never seeing a single fish that has some kind of defect. That's just not going to happen. So nature itself throws large defects. So it's your goal and kind of responsibility to determine, is it just inconsistent babble that we can just strengthen up and not pay much attention to, or is it something that I really need to be paying attention to and I have to be really aware of this? But again, at the end result of any of this, with you recreating your prized example, you're going to want to strengthen it. So again, the best process would be, if it's still inconsistent, or even if it is consistent, if you see only like 2%, what you can do is you can just take these two here, and you can, if you did succeed at making another one, and it's like 2% or so of consistent defect, what you could do at that ratio, because that's not that bad for this type of a program here, for just recreating this, strengthening it up and going about your way. So what you could do is, like I said, breed this to an outside line and breed this to an outside line. If you're seeing that, oh, hey, that really improved that, then go ahead and breed those offspring from both of this together. And then if you pop out offspring that are like this and they're not defective of any kind, and you're like, wow, okay, I can really work with this, then what you can do is you can just take those and start back on that breeding bloodline operation, and you'll be fine. If you, because again, if you can on odds, right? This is all odds. So if you can correct a defect that easily and that quickly, then it is not something that's kind of deep set, seared in, right? It's could even just be like fluke, and you bred it out and then it got lost in some of these offspring, or because it's all odds as to whether it will pass, how much it will pass, blah 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 blah. But if you're seeing that 2% of consistency shave off right here, where you're breeding best your prized one that you recreated in this one, and you're seeing the defects go, then you're perfectly fine. But at the same time, like I said, and then you created This one for diversity, cross those together. Now you're working with great diversity. And again, if you still have your prized recreated and your original for the quality you want, and now you're seeing the defects fixed, then great. You have diversity now, and you kept your prized visual to be able to move forward with, and in which case you're full speed ahead. You don't need to worry about it. It's only if you're seeing those defects stay and linger and linger and linger. If it's just, like I said, I mean, if it's so dismal it's not even funny, then just work on strengthening as you're going. But again, if it's only 2% or something like that, then you don't, it's just, hey, I'm here and this is going to have to be resolved at some point. So you're going to have to work it into your program. If it is 5% consistent, then it's really going to be, okay, this is actually going to seem like this might be kind of a hard one to hopscotch out. And in which case, because you're not already running a bloodline now, you can't just eradicate a whole section and work forward and eradicate the negative traits. So that's one of the benefits of actually having a bloodline like that, is because if you're doing that and you saw one, then you could shave off a whole section like I showed you previously. And if it's not showing up here, congratulations, you've effectively removed the negative trait, whatever it would be, on this one here, and you're moving forward strong and you don't got to worry about it anymore. So again, hopefully you guys are finding these videos useful. You do not want to do this more than 3 times though, because just like this with the diversity thing going down here, you don't want to push your limits with that. So you don't want to do it here either. So especially since you're bringing it back to the original so many times like that, you know, it's kind of your every breeding to recreate it. You're kind of really pulling on too much of this genetics past this. But depending on species, can you do this? Yes. Even some betas, you're totally fine doing this 3 times. But again, you just got to pay attention. And if any of you guys have questions if you are doing something like this, then reach out to me. And you know, I mean, I'm not the say all be all, but I will give you my own take on what you're seeing. You know, what would be the best move moving forward, and my own personal predictions based on, I mean, it is years of breeding. So, like all this stuff here that I'm showing you guys, for me is like, you know, I could hiccup this out at any point in time of the day. You know, I've been breeding a very long time. So again, I'm not the say all be all. I never pretend like I am. But what I would love to do is see the bar of standard of awareness and proper education raising out there. So that's my goal here. So, for those of you guys who have already worked with me a bunch, you already know that I take a lot of pride in helping people succeed, not me. No, I want you all to succeed, because if you all are succeeding, everyone's doing great. So it doesn't do anyone any good if everyone's just sitting there falling on their face constantly and not having proper awareness. And then people are getting the wrong ideas. Then they're making a bunch of false purchases. Then they're going and doing all this other stuff, right? It just creates a mess, and it's not good for anybody. So and especially not good for the animals if you guys don't actually understand what it is that is, you know. So I'm going to hold this here for a second. Hopefully you can still see it all well enough. But again, if you're just trying to recreate one, just take the best one you can, breed it to it, offspring, back to it. Take the best offspring there, breed them back to it. Best offspring there, breed them back to it. And you can just keep doing that 3 times. And if you do that, you're fine. Good. Again, inconsistent defects that are in minute levels, like, you know, 5% or less, it means very little. It's only when you're seeing a consistency in what you're seeing that it is then becoming an alarming rate, or if you're passing 5%, getting to 10%. 10%, if it's inconsistent, you know, like I said, I mean, you really got to have it's hard to summarize all this up because it really depends on what defects you're seeing too. I'm just doing the best I can to actually give you guys something you can visually see here and try and explain. But again, I mean, you guys can just reach out to me and I'll help you with all this anyways. So I guess I should just leave it at that. But there are certain defects that are going to be stronger than others. There's going to be ones that are recognizable as being something permanent already right off the bat. Or, you know, some defects too, you can look at and already know, okay, so if you bred out 1,000 of those, you're going to already see it like XYZ times. So that's not actually counting as something you should be paying attention to. So it just depends on what you're seeing, really. But again, never hesitate to reach out to me and just ask, and I'll give you my best take on what we're able to weed out and weed through. You know, I'll ask questions, have you show me some stuff, and we'll kind of feel out together what exactly is happening and what are you seeing, including diet. Diet's a big one, but it's good because sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, but they're not actually feeding good food. So it's like they're, or the conditions are wrong, like that they're raising the fry in, and, you know, so it's like, sometimes they think they're running into problems, and you're like, no, look. Do this, and then they do, and then everything is fixed. And it's like, see, you almost scrapped this for no reason. So just the same. And that has happened a lot of times over the years as I've worked with people. They've thought that they were running into problems, and it was realistically nothing to do with the genetics at all. So anyway, again, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm sorry that I'm so tired. My health has been really bad lately. I was on a new medication, and so I'm just trying to get the series done, and I think it's pretty important to have out there, and I've been wanting to do this for like well over 2 months now, so I finally just said, screw it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna get it done. So again, never hesitate to reach out to me. I will be there, and I will answer your questions. Always happy to help people and give you real life examples too of my own breedings and what I did, and you know, just kind of, I'm always trying to help spread awareness of things and give you real life examples too and demonstrations. I do that a lot. So hope you guys like this stuff. Again, this doesn't really just pertain to you know, this could be leopard geckos, could be iguanas, it could be, you know, a number of things. There's even, you know, instances where certain species that are out there actually prefer that you're running an operation like genetically, instinctually, they only want to actually stay in a bloodline format, like the hardcore, like that's how they operate. And the reason for that is that in nature, like I said, for the bloodline, it knows, hey, if we are allowing constant variables, then we're actually weakening ourselves. So as a survival tactic, they will actually operate better staying tight knit. So and there are some species of cichlids too that are like that, where people oftentimes will think that they're just very, very hard to breed. And it's like, I'm sorry to say this, but it's because you're over there trying to cross other stuff into it. It doesn't want to do that. That's not how it works. So you're not going to get them to breed well for you. That's just, so they want to stay related, but diverse at the same time. So if you're following this program like I was showing you in previous ones, then you're going to be like, oh shit, fix my problem. But anyway, I hope you guys all have a good night. And yeah, I'll keep making some videos that I think would be really good for you guys to see, and tools for you to have. This is, again, just one tool for you to kind of understand and see visually. I just want to, like I said, this whole series is about giving you guys all the truths, all the realities, all the tools, so that you guys can have them in your pocket and speed away on your breeding programs. So